a blog update. Or should I call it a vlog? But yesterday was kind of hard for me. And honestly, Christmas has always been a hard time for me, basically since my parents broke up around Christmas.
In 10 miles, turn right onto Reed Street.
As a sensitive, also known as empath, I'm aware at how this time of year is one of the top times for suicide, basically. I'm also aware of Saturnalia and how it's really a Luciferian holiday, and how you can do some homework on the Amanita mushrooms, and how the shamans would wear red and white and come down the chimneys and deliver by caribou. So that's where the hallucinations of Santa Claus come from. It's not actually from Coca-Cola like a lot of people think. And actually in the Bible, in Jeremiah 10, it completely states how Christmas is actually against the way of God. Now, with that being stated, also last year was extremely hard for me because I went to go see my grandma in the retirement home for the first time. And I had a mohawk and black hair, and she didn't recognize me. And she honestly didn't recognize my dad either. Many times she thought that I was his girlfriend, and then she thought that he was her hubby or something. And honestly, I just cried my eyes out, so bad. It was so rough for me and my dad. My dad was so strong, really, through it all. And yesterday, there was some comic relief in all of that. Me and my dad made some jokes, basically, oh, this is how we're gonna end up, if we're wealthy enough to basically end up in a home like that and be taken care of. But what really made me say the joke comment was about how we kept trying to decode the things that she was saying. She wasn't really making full sentences, but she was saying really cryptic stuff. She said that her time was coming, and so was my dad's. And my dad has had an immunity disease since I was a child, since I was born. And he also had hepatitis C, but also has been cured of that thanks to some new medication that came out. He's completely cured. But it was kind of creepy. My grandma even mentioned a date. I think it was December 12th or December 21st. And that's really creepy because we go to see her for Christmas. And then she started saying some other things to me. And she told me how beautiful I was and how much she loved my sparkly shirt. And she mentioned how I'm really good to me. And in some aspects, I felt like she was trying to say how good I am to her. And then she also said to my dad, how she wants me to go to Thailand. And that was also unusual because there's some synchronicities in my life right now where I'm literally fantasizing about selling everything and going to live there by the ocean. And she said some other things. I did try to record some of it, but she talked so low. I was so attentive to the things that she was saying. And then I almost cried because when I gave her a hug goodbye, it kind of almost felt like the last hug. And when I hugged her, I felt like a transfer of essence come into me. And I had another weird synchronicity that happened right before I left the museum. I was on the front facade, I was doing some tarot readings, and, I didn't approach this lady. Some random person came up to me, and all she said to me was, "Candy is with you." And at the time, I didn't get it. I think it was around Halloween time or something, and I was like, "Candy is with me." But then I realized that's my grandma's name. And then, that freaked me out. It really did, because it was my grandma's having out-of-body experiences, and she's traveling to see the ones that she loves. And And that kind of really fucked me up. I also, like, honestly, since I cut my hair, I felt a lot of great influences of my grandma. It's like almost hard to speak right now. I just don't know what to make of it all. And I never want to lose my grandma or my father, but I realize it's a huge part of life. But they're both huge influences on who I am. My father is the main inspiration for me doing my homework. We actually spent some time this morning talking about the Federal Reserve and how nobody basically wants to admit how it exists, and they think that the political system and voting actually does something, not understanding that the Federal Reserve is actually no part of the government whatsoever, and that no part of the government has any say over what they do. Otherwise, they'll cut their funding. And I think it's like Alan Green something. I forgot his name. But he, in like a 48-second video you can see on video, talks about how no law is above the Federal Reserve. And I think that you guys should look into that. Not that it's very pleasing to be aware of this, but if you think about it also, we also discussed about North Korea and how easily we could destroy him if we wanted to, but how it's very well possible that they keep him so that he scares the people, so we give them more money so that we think that we're continuously being protected. Which is kind of alarming, but I guess a way of life. Now, I also wanted to cover some dreams that I had, if I can seem to remember them. I had so many. One of them, I'm at like some sort of hotel, and then in the lobby is some sort of like mistress convention, and all these like women come walking into the establishment, and then some older lady with like a feathered bow or something is trying to talk to me, and like I can barely hear her voice, and she's trying to tell me something, and it almost seems like she thinks that I work there or something. But then like I almost quickly put her in her place and like let her know like who I am. And in the dream, ironically, I hug her also, and I like continuously hold her, and by me holding her, it lets her know my energy in the dream. And I remember some actual doms from like Twitter basically being in there. And like how I'm basically walking on eggshells to avoid them because I can't stand them and their energy, and I just want them to stay far away. And then there's like another room where there's like an oxygen bar, and it's almost like a way of the future, like 2020 type stuff. And in the oxygen bar, while people are breathing oxygen, they're like riding these bicycle type things. So it's like they're getting extreme exercise while also having pure oxygen or something along those lines. And then like I'm supposed to meet up with my friend Steven and my roommate Dennis in the hotel room. But then like I guess Dennis goes to the mistress party and he like has to throw me the key or something. And then like I guess Steven's out there too, because at some point I'm in the room by myself. But I think like before this I'm like driving, and then like in the dream I'm having a hard time stopping. But then like my steering wheel turns almost computer-like, and like I can only see through the steering wheel, and it's like, I don't know, like a video program or something, but like there's a glitch in the system, and I'm zoomed in super tight to cars or whatever, and then like like, how do I explain this? Like I have no depth perception, basically, because I'm so zoomed in, and I end up bumping the car in front of me. And then, like, in the video, in my steering wheel, I can see a guy getting out of his vehicle, and, like, I open my car door, and, like, two children, literally come up to me, and one of them has, like, a gun. And he's, like, fucking with me, like he's gonna do something to me, and acting like they're gonna come back for me or something like that. And then when I'm back in the hotel room, I see Steven, and Steven basically gives me a sense of urgency that I have to leave the hotel. Because, like, they're gonna come back and kill me. And, like, in the dream, I'm trying to also contact one of my loyal submissives that I've had since, like, 2013, maybe 14. And I'm trying to, like, let them know information so they can help me out. That's DTS, by the way. And, like,
In 1 mile, turn right onto Reed Street.
Thinking back on the dream, I want to mention back to the retirement home, how there was, like, 3 other women in a wheelchair, one in a wheelchair, 2 could walk, and one of them, like, basically looked like an angel, and she kept smiling at me and telling me how pretty I was. Technically there's 4. There was a blonde lady, actually, too, who mentioned, like, prettiness of my shirt and stuff. But another one looked kind of like a bird, and, like, I was looking at her, and she comes up to me and says, "What are you looking at?" or something like that. And I said, "Hello." And then she said something else that was extremely cryptic, but I'm kind of, like, blacking out right now what she was saying because it was kind of freaky. And then there was another one, the one that was in the wheelchair. She kept begging and begging and begging to get into her bedroom. And they wouldn't let her in until 8 o'clock, which was basically, like, 3 hours away at the time.
In 800 feet, turn right onto Laurel Street.
Oh boy. I missed my turn.
Turn right onto Laurel Street, then turn left onto South 5th Street.
So,
In 800 feet, turn left onto South 5th Street.
I hope this is right.
In a quarter mile, turn right onto Reed Street.
Alright, so back to the alarming dreams. Like, I feel like the woman with the feather bow has something to do with one of the women at the retirement home. I want to say the bird-looking lady, really. And, like, I don't think I've already said this, and if I did, I guess I'm going to say it again, but I really, really felt the energy of these people. Like, I could feel the distress of the woman who's just trying to get into her room, the, like, comfort of her bedroom. And they just won't let her in her room.
Turn right onto Reed Street.
I mean, I don't know if they're cleaning their rooms or what the circumstances are why she couldn't go in there. But she was, like, moving her shoulders all around, and she was just really, really
In
upset.
2.5 miles, turn left onto State Road 207.
I felt really bad for her. And then there was another one who looked like an angel. And just, like, I felt like she saw straight through me, and, like, she could see what good people me and my dad were still coming there, even though my grandma couldn't remember us. It's like our love was still there, and our loyalty and servitude to our family was still in our hearts, or something like that. And then the bird lady was, like, super intuitive and, like, almost nosy. I don't know, but she also had, like, a bunch of stuff going on. Like, I could tell that she was intuitive, but also, like, she had blockages and she was, like, stuck. It was almost like she's stuck here in the physical realm. I can't explain it, but it was extremely uncomfortable. But still, my love and heart and passion goes out to them. There's a reason why they're still here, and I almost wish I took videos of those people, but I didn't want to disrespect their families or them in any way. I tried to document my grandma. It kind of sucks to see her like that. I actually watched her mother go through the same thing. Horrible, horrible memory problems. We had to take away her keys. Things like that. It's almost sickening. Now, something that I haven't mentioned that I really would love to bring up is my grandma spent a majority of her life drinking root beer out of aluminum cans. And aluminum is a direct influence to Alzheimer's, if you didn't know. And there's also aluminum being sprayed into our skies right now with chemtrails.
In 1 mile, turn left onto State Road 207.
Oh, so there's that. I always thought that was kind of creepy. That's also connected with her colitis attacks, I found out also. Also with her addiction to chocolate. All related stuff. I definitely think I want to pursue some aspect of the medical field and to continue my alternative medicine of healing. All my weird methods that seem to help people. But again, a lot of that stems down to the massage therapy school again. So, I don't really want to do that. But unfortunately, it's kind of forced. I definitely want to do the acupuncture thing. But that means I'm definitely going to have to move. I have a lot of homework I have to do and figure out where I would go to school exactly. It's kind of frustrating, all the uncertainty in my life. I just basically have to make a choice and realize...
Turn left onto State Road 207.
It's here. I wish I had my glasses. I think they're in my trunk. Oh, so many emotions. My gut is almost turning. I have like a lot of other intuitive things going on, like I don't think that my YouTube channel is going to stay up forever. I think a lot of my content is going to get lost.
For 19 miles, continue on State Road 207.
I'll do my best to preserve and protect some of my videos so I can put them back up. However, I just might have to start over from scratch. Frankly, because I'm too lazy to put in all the effort of saving every single video. But I also try not to put too much value in all of that. But at the same time, I am putting out the greatest intention that I can to continue my channel despite the horrendous truth that I choose to share. Perhaps it's a sense of paranoia of being censored because I've had so many streams censor me before. YouTube has been excessively good to me so far. I don't know if you've noticed, but I've let this go on for about 19 minutes now. So I'm definitely going to have to transfer this to my computer which would be a perfect time to back up some of my favorite videos from my channel so I can have them for my future channel should anything happen. I also would like to add a MacBook to my wish list because I feel like that will come in handy. I've had the same laptop since like 2012. It's like a Sony Vaio. I think that's how you say it. It's pink. I've had it forever. I'm going to have to back that stuff up in case anything happens to that laptop as well. That's the shitty part about the virtual reality. They can take it away at any point. However, that's also how they keep us so under control at our own will. My soul is pretty hungry to travel. I keep wanting to go to places where it's warm, and I want to run through a patch of sunflowers that's really calling to me. I've also never seen snow before, and I'd love to make that happen. On top of that, I'm definitely doing the Georgia Guidestone soon. I'm actually planning with my dive buddy Aqua Dude to drive his car up there. He knows I love driving, and he's into a lot of the same things I am. He's also good at videography, so I won't have to record myself, which is pretty great. Hey, speaking of Amazon wishlist earlier, I went ahead and I added those nose clips. I try to find the best ones with like great reviews. I found one by Speedo. I'm assuming that they would stick behind their name and it would be a good nose clip. And there were some pretty positive reviews. Hopefully they weren't fake ones. But you can expect me to look excessively silly with the black nose clip. I could certainly use some underwater adventures right about now. Melt all that stress away. I love that. It's almost tempting to hold my breath now. I've done that quite a few times on road trips. I feel like you're bitching at me that the camera isn't properly positioned. Is that better? I feel like I need to remind you of the video I just posted before this one about how you need to give me some gift cards to my favorite massage place to help relieve some of this tension. Somebody keeps telling me the same like negative thought in my head. I am not looking forward to today. I am not looking forward to today. Today I'm putting in some hours at this new job I got, basically. I came across this woman who really needed some help, and I had experience in this line of work, so I've been putting in time at her cafe, and she's actually about to open up another location, which I'm actually more excited to be in. And it's actually a float spa. There's also a salt cave. Oh man, I spent hours with her in there. So she's kind of helping me out because I needed some stable income, especially most of all on paper. Like, because if I try to move, they want documentation. My brother says that I could just use my bank statements, but I'm not certain about that. But I assume he's correct in some aspects. But either way, this helps pass the time and it makes some money. I meet lots of people, and I feel like I'm almost paying my dues to have more time inside this salt spa. I know how much she needs me, and I know how much I'm helping her. It's kind of like the hours that I've been putting in at the animal shelter thrift store, Ayla's Acres. When I volunteer there, it doesn't feel like work. It's kind of like the same thing at the cafe right now. Like, I actually enjoy the things that I do. It's like so simple stuff. Like making paninis or making espressos. I like staying busy with my hands, and it also is like pleasing for me to get creative and know that like I'm making things for people with like love and passion. But to be honest with you, again, as an empath, like I pick up tons of people's like negative shit. Like my Reiki master basically explained it to me that what I do is I clean up people's energetic fields. Like when they're around me, they instantly feel comforted and all their shit melts away. And this even happens in virtual realities, where basically like people can be focusing on my images and I pick up their essence. And this can be sexual essence if someone uses my image for that, or if someone is sad and is being uplifted. My new hypno stuff, I feel so close to all those clients. It's wild. And it's honestly most rewarding. It's almost more rewarding than Findom. Like, that has been such a pleasurable experience, and I want to do more. And I'll be practicing and rehearsing different videos and trying different techniques. And I'm all about learning new stuff like that. I also have always enjoyed how, like, these people have just always flocked to me. It's like I don't
In 10 miles, turn left to merge onto I-95 North toward Jacksonville.
It's nice to not even have to try it and, like, see it as almost like a symbolism to my life of what I'm meant to do. And it's funny because I recently saw a medium, and I was told that I'm meant to heal with my voice. And I didn't understand what she meant until this happened. Like, I thought I was meant to sing, or I couldn't figure it out. And I even had my slave girl look up different ways to heal with your voice, and it was really hard to express this to her, like what the heck I meant, especially through text messages. I feel like I'm being forced to shut up. They don't want me to talk about this stuff. It's like I'm being punished. Let me also state for the record that I always had this fantasy that I'd be assassinated. Like Lady in the Water, like I'm meant to create some sort of cookbook, which is funny because I wrote a book called Cookbook one time. Am I turning here? Am I turning here? Is this it? I don't know. It says Jacksonville. Passing it. Passing it. Oh no. You keep going because that's saying I'll get suicide. Alright. Well, shit, man. I feel kind of sick. Like, all of this makes me sick. I get physically ill when dealing with this stuff. It's like I'm taking on too much, to be frank with you. Like, I'm helping too many people, and I'm not putting myself first, which is why I need all of you. But that's actually kind of wrong, because I need more of Source. And that's what I'm supposed to be doing. And I'm supposed to be setting an example for you at what you're supposed to be doing also. I also worry that I'm getting actually sick again. Like, I really need to take care of myself and eat better. I haven't been eating really well since I've been on the road. It's so hard to. I'm gonna have have to figure out a way to travel with like organic foods and perhaps to grow my own organic foods. And I have to figure out ways to reduce stress. I notice that a lot of times my stress happens in my vehicle. And that is not good. Because like that can get me into accidents or horrible situations. And I've had it so many times where I've gotten in complete distress. Something is also telling me to tell you that it looks like I'm going to be selling my mermaid tank. So maybe I should save some of those videos too, huh? Those are some highlights of my life. I actually just thought about it right now, how it would probably be nice for me to go ahead and create another YouTube channel now and just keep everything on private. And then when shit hits the fan, I already have my backup account. And then maybe on that channel I just won't release, you know, stuff like this. That basically people on YouTube keep getting their account shut down and their money taken away. Speaking of money taken away, YouTube and Google Analytics do not seem to be collaborating anymore, which also sucks. That has not been pleasurable. Because I'm familiar with that, and so change isn't always the greatest thing for me. I find comfort in stability, but I also do love the destruction of the old to make way for the new. So call me a Pisces at that. Swimming two different directions, going in circles, loving both sides of the spectrum. I'm really, really looking forward to being home. And like, I keep dealing with this thing all the time, where it's like, that two sides thing, man. Like, I think, I want to go home, but then a lot of times, the home that I'm in right now doesn't feel like home. But right now, I'm thinking I want to go home, and home is home because George is there, and it's familiar, in the comfort of my book collection, and my new comforter, and my pillow, and some of my costumes. But again, I'm pretty sure I stated this earlier in the video. If not, let's state it again anyway. I'm going to let go of some of my costumes. I'm going to make a eBay account, and I'll probably add that to my URLs, and I will sell some of my things. I have tons of corsets, tons of professional modeling outfits, and I can't lie, I'm even thinking about selling my $4,000 mermaid tail prosthetic. It's in mint condition right now, so if I'm going to sell it, now is the time. Which is rough for me because I worked really hard to save that up. And I know a lot of you had actually contributed to me being able to get one. But the way someone put it to me is that I'm basically paying to be a mermaid unless I get gigs. And even then, it's like I'm underselling myself because I've been charging $150 an hour when really I'm worth $300 an hour to do my professional mermaid work. So I do need to figure that out. I need to make up my mind, is really more than anything. Part of it is also that it's like baggage. People think it's so great to have so many material things, but really, like, a lot of it just holds you down. I need to be able to have my freedom to travel. It's another reason why I never did so well with the system of a stable job. I've always been revolted.
In 1 mile, Turn left to merge onto I-95 North toward Jacksonville.
I've got about 20-30 miles to go, I want to say. And then I'll be home. I'm in like a very uncomfortable stage of my life. We call it my transitional period. It's not the most pleasing. I'm like stuck in limbo. Like, do I want to settle down and get a house and go to school and like do the traditional way of life?
Turn left to merge onto I-95 North toward Jacksonville.
Or do I want to put all my shit in a storage unit and take my cat and just travel the world? Go live in Bali for a couple months. I mean, let's be honest, that's what I kind of want to do. But like, all these traditional negative conceptions, perceptions tell me, oh, you can't do that. You can't afford that. How are you going to do that?
In 6 miles, take exit 318 onto FL16 towards St. Augustine.
But then there's like an angel inside my head that's like, you can do this, you got this, just believe in yourself. So it's all like, I have to just make the choice at this point at what I'm really going to do. I guess you can say that's like the most frustrating part of all. That it all boils down to me and my decision and what I will have and what I won't have and what I will accept and what I won't accept. Because there's so many things that I have allowed. For example, I allowed people to treat me like garbage in the past. I allowed myself to stay in situations for far too long. I allowed myself to go into debt. I allowed myself to take on other people's problems. I allowed myself to learn many things the hard way. And many spiritual people actually believe that before we came to earth, that we made the decision, all the things we were going to go through, all the bullshit, all the bad stuff, everything was a choice that we made for ourselves. With our guardian angels, we talked to them and planned our entire journey. That's a pretty fascinating concept. I'd love to know where the source of that actually comes from and who talks about that. I'd love to hear more about it. Something else just screamed at me, do your homework, do your homework. I think I have to listen to some more Michael Tazarian. That's another thing I'd like to do more on these long drives. Instead of making videos, I should be listening to long YouTube seminars that are very educational. That would probably be more beneficial. My bum is starting to hurt from sitting so long. I should probably be sitting on this Insane Clown Posse pillow beside me.
In 2 miles, take exit 318 onto FL16 towards St. Augustine.
1.8 miles to go. And I'm turning right. So I'm gonna have to get over eventually. You know something else that I do that I thought had something to do with the healing with my voice. And also, before I do this, I meant to tell you that yawning is clearing. So yawn anytime you can. Oh my god, I need to get over. Or maybe I'll get in front of this truck, if I can. Get in front of this truck. So that other thing that I was saying that I do is I used to sing and make my own songs. And like I would just pull songs out my ass and just make things up like, today's going to be a great day, going to be the best day of my life. Like, I know.
Use the right lane to take exit 318 onto FL 16 towards St. Augustine.
There's no, what's rhythm? I don't know what it's called. Metronome? I have no clue. But I'm definitely not a singer.
Take the exit, then turn right onto State Road 16.
Hey, wait a minute.
In a quarter mile, turn right onto State Road 16 toward Technical Institute.
I think I'm home already, y'all. I am.
Turn right onto State Road 16 toward Technical Institute.
Yeah, there's a gate gas station. Starbucks over there? If Starbucks is over there, then I'm definitely home. Oh my god, this is it already.
In 1.5 miles, turn left onto Stratton Boulevard.
Yeah. Alright, y'all. I'm gonna let you go. I'll probably update this video today after that other video stays up for a little bit. I got so much shit to do. Peace, y'all.